Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. Today's lesson is going to be Bruce's Henry Boy from Chapter and Verse. Big thanks to Patreon Pierre Roger Schoen for the request. Be sure to follow to the end of the video just in case I go through any parts that aren't in the walkthrough. So what I'll do now is play the whole song through and you'll see tab appear on the screen. Then I'll come back and go through all the individual parts. See you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what I'm going to do is go through the parts. Now for this breakdown video, I'm going to do it slightly different to most of the others that I've done, in that I think that Bruce is randomizing his strumming quite a lot. So I think the best thing to do is go through all the techniques and some of the main sections, and that will help you to learn the song quicker. So chord wise, what we've got first of all is A6 over E. So I think this is one of the main chords he's using throughout the song. Now this is A6 over E, which basically means that there's an E in the root note, and fret wise that's 2, 2, 2, 2, and then he's also playing an A6 I think sometimes. It doesn't really matter too much which one you use, but that's A6 over E with the root note on the D string, and then A6 with the open A string. So you can play it sometimes with first finger or third finger. Okay, and then you've got a standard E major chord. So So 0, 2, 2, 0, oops, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. Okay, then you've got a B6 over F sharp, which sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is. It's really just the 4th fret from the D string, okay? So 4, 4, 4, 4, okay? It's quite a challenging bar, that one, especially on the acoustic guitar, but it sounds really cool. You've got an A major chord, so you can either bar that with your first finger as long as the E string's ringing, or you can even block it off, the E string. So, or you play it with your first, second and third fingers. And then you've got an A sus4 chord as well. Fret-wise, that's 0, 2, 2, 3, 0. Okay, and then you also got a C sharp minor chord. Okay, so fret-wise, 4, 6, 6, 5, 4 from the A string. And then you've got a B major. Okay, so fret-wise 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 2 from the A string. And a B sus4 as well. I play the middle 4 strings for this predominantly, so 2, 4, 4, 5. With your little finger there as well. It's a really nice chord that. That's B sus4, F sharp minor. So that's barring all of the 2nd fret, and then 3rd and 4th fingers on the 4th fret of the A in the D string. Okay, and then you also got an F sharp 5 chord, which is basically a stripped down version of that F sharp minor, where you're just playing the E, the A and the D strings. Okay, so it's a power chord, F sharp 5. Okay, and then you also got a G sharp minor chord. Okay, so for these F sharp minors and G sharp minors, as you check with the walkthrough as well, sometimes I'm kind of just playing the lower kind of power chord versions of these anyway. So G sharp minor, and he's kind of playing, you know, playing around with some of the root notes and etc, etc. So that's the chord. So I'll just quickly go through that again. A6 over E, A6, E major, B6 over F sharp, A major, A sus4, C sharp minor, B major, B sus4, F sharp minor, F sharp 5, and then G sharp minor. Cool, so what I'm also going to do is put the song structure up on the screen. Now this song kind of is a bit more random than a lot of Bruce's songs, but hopefully you might find that useful as well. The song structure will be in the description as well. So when you see chords in brackets, that basically means they have however many chords in that particular bar. Okay, so you say if you see an A6 over E plus a C sharp minor, that means that those 2 chords are in one bar. Of course, again, feel free to use that if you find it useful. Cool, so now what we're going to do is go through the main strumming patterns. So most of the song, you've basically got these semi-quaver or 16th note strumming patterns. It's really about getting used to playing that. And Bruce is going to play, if you play this live, you play it differently every single time, yeah? You know, this recording that was on Chapter and Verse is it's almost like he probably did quite 10, 15 takes and just took the best take and did it slightly differently every time. As long as you've got the main techniques there, you're laughing. So what we've got is, I'm going to show you the main, what I think is the patterns that he's using. So the first one is one-ander. Okay, so I'm going to do this with open E string and also with a chord as well. So this one-ander, down, down, up. Okay, so that's going to be 1 quaver, a 1/8 note, and then 2 semiquavers or 2 16th notes. So you count it like this: down, down, up, 1-ander. So if you did a whole bar of that, it would go 1-ander, 2-ander, 3-ander, 4-ander. And the other pattern is quite common that he uses. Again, these are all 1-beat patterns. Is 1E and. Okay, so that's 2 semiquavers or 2 16th notes followed by a quaver, okay, or an 8th note. So here you've basically got 3 notes in a row: 1E and, 1E and, 2E and, 3E and, 4E and. Cool. And then the other pattern is the main one, where he's basically just playing all semiquavers: 1E and, 2E and, 3E and, 4E and. Cool. So if I played that in chords, it would sound something like this. So the first pattern, 1-ander, will go like this: 1-ander. Okay. 1-ander. Okay. Then the second pattern would go like this: 1E and, third pattern will go 1 E and a. Cool. And then really what's happening is he's merging all those together. So let's take a few examples of this. So bars 7 and 8 in the intro. Again, feel free to check the song structure. What we've got is this. So you've got the second fret, A6 over E, 1 and a, with the open E string for the second and third notes. You've got 1 and a, 2 and a. So there you've got that 1 beat pattern, 1 and a, doubled up. You've just got, yeah, so 1 and a, 2 and a. And then the third beat has just got 2 quavers. And we're just going to do downstrokes for this. So 3 and. That's going between the E major and the A6 over E, so 3 and. So those first 3 beats goes like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and then 4 E and a. Okay, so that's my suggested strumming pattern here. So I've got it quite as close as I can to the original, because it's quite hard to pick out what Bruce is doing as he's varying it up so much, okay? I just want to get all the main kind of little bits that he's doing there. So that's bar 7 again, so 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and 4 E and a. And then bar 8 is a good example of one of the other patterns, which is the 1 E and. Okay, so the start of this bar, you're going like this. 1 E and, 2 and, that's 2 quavers, or 2 eighth notes. 1 and a 2, sorry, 1 E and, 2 and, 1 E and, 2 and. Okay, so that's that 1 E and pattern, okay? So we're using all those 3 examples. In bar 7 you had 1 and a, 2 and a, okay? And in bar 8 you also had 4 E and a. And then this bar 8 we've got this other semi-quaver kind of common pattern he uses throughout the song, which is 1 E and, 2 and. Then it goes back to that other pattern, 3 and a, and then 4 E and a. Cool, okay, so this is bars 7 and 8 that use all those 3 examples I use. So 1 and a, 1 E and then 1 E and a. Okay, and you can see when mixing those up, that's how it's going to get this kind of style of strumming that Bruce is doing. Cool, so he's developed it over the years. Obviously this is proper, he does a lot more strumming in the early years than he does now. But it's quite cool to mix it up. So bar 7 and 8, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and 4 E and a, 1 E and, 2 and 3 and a, 4 E and a. Cool, so another thing that Bruce does a lot in this song is kind of work with accents, okay? So I haven't put a lot of these in the walkthrough just to not overload it, but really accents, what you want to do is just say you get a bar of B major, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. What he's often going to do is hit some of those harder than others. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and a, 4 E and a. So some of those I'm just hitting slightly louder and just changing the dynamics. So it's worth playing around with some of that. So that's one of the other techniques is accents. I'll give you an example. This is bar 13. Okay, what you've got is this, A6 over E, 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 and he's hitting this kind of B6 over F sharp slightly louder, 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 E and a. Okay, so that's bar 13 again with an accent. 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 E and a. Cool, so play around with those. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at some of the sections where Bruce varies it up even more from those traditional strumming patterns that we've just been through. So we're going to take a look at the first bridge and the first chorus. Okay, so chord wise we've got C sharp minor, B, and then E. And we've also got an A6 over E as well. So strumming wise, what we've got is we've got a mixture of strumming and what we call dead notes, where you're kind of releasing pressure off your fretting hand to create this kind of percussive kind of sound. It sounds really cool, and feel free to add that in other places through the song as well, just to make it vary up a little bit. So we've got C sharp minor, 1 and a. So on the and a, we're going to release pressure from your fretting hand. So 1 and a, and then it goes 2 E and. So 1 and a, 2 E and. Sounds really cool. 1 and a, 2 E and, 3 E and a, 4. This is a great example of those three rhythms we went through earlier. 1 and a 2E and 3E and a 4. And at speed. It sounds really cool. And then the next bar, that's tied over into the next bar, that E major. On the end of 1, you've got 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E and a. So that second bar again of the first bridge, 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E and a. So those first two bars of the first bridge go like this. 1 and a 2E and 3E and a 4, 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E and a. Just sounds really cool with those dead notes as well. And then the next bar, it kind of starts off the same, the first two beats. 1 and a 2E and I've suggested just doing semiquavers, so 16th notes, constant, 3E and a 4E and a. And then the next bar, E major, 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. Okay, so this is the fourth bar of the first bridge, 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So this is the first bridge, all four bars. 1 and a 2E and 3E and a 4, 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E and 1 and a 2E and 3E and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. Cool, so then the first chorus, the reason I wanted to show you this, there's a slight variation later on as well with the C sharp minor and F sharp minor. But once you've got this, you'll be able to get this kind of strumming going. So it comes in on the and a 4 from that previous bar of E from the first bridge. So it does this. 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and. What you're doing, upstroke the C sharp minor, okay? 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and. And it's this really cool pattern that repeats 4 times, I think, and the fourth time slightly different. So you got this. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and Okay, so the main gist of the pattern is all quavers like this. 8th notes down and up strokes. So you got this. And 1, which is a dead note. So and 1 and with the F sharp 5, dead note, and then up, up, down on the B major. So this is the pattern. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4. And then the last time, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just going to do some semiquavers, 16th notes at the end. So it's a pretty cool section that. So you got this from the end of the first bridge, 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Cool. Now for the next two bars, I put a little crescendo in the walkthrough. He does a lot of this throughout the song, so even if I haven't put it in the walkthrough, feel free to play around with some of the dynamics. So a lot, sort of building up some of the strums and doing some of them quieter than others, and it will just really help to make it sound as close as possible to the original. So for these these next two bars, what we've suggested is an A major and an A sus4, kind of slowly building up. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay, so A major, A sus4, and kind of gradually do a crescendo there, and then B major, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And then I've suggested some triplets to finish off this first chorus. You can do all this downstrokes, B major, something like that will work really well. Cool, so I'm just going to play that whole of that first chorus. In fact, I'll do the first bridge and the first chorus. Okay, so 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4, 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E, 3 and a 4, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds pretty cool. So the other thing I wanted to mention was the fourth verse, because he's doing this really cool semi-quaver pattern that we haven't gone through, which is this dotted quaver or dotted eighth note followed by a semi-quaver or a 16th note. Okay, so the pattern is this one beat pattern. I think he does something very similar, or I think this is pretty spot on actually. So 1 E and a. Okay, so that's the pattern. 1 E and a. So this is the start of the fourth verse. 1 E and a 2, 1 E and a 2 and 3 E. So you got this kind of down, up, and the downstrokes are 3/4 of a beat. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E. And then you got semi-quavers at the end. I just think it sounds really cool. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E. It just sounds really cool. And again, it's a very common semi-quaver pattern that you want to use, and Bruce will use all the time as well. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E, 4 E and a. And then you've got the next bar of the fourth verse is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Again, he will vary up quite a lot, so you don't have to play just this strumming pattern all the time. Feel free to mix some of them around if you think some of them suit your playing or sound closer to the original. So that bar of E major again, so this is the second bar of the fourth verse. You've got 1 E and a 2, and then I'm going E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so those two bars are the fourth verse, which I've actually I think repeat 6 times. Okay, you got this. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a. I think that sounds really cool, really funky kind of strumming there. Cool, so I hope that's helped you a lot. It's quite a fiddly song that is in terms of strumming, but if you're really interested in improving this kind of funk kind of early Bruce strumming, I think this is a really good one to learn. There's lots of cool stuff that you can call semi-quaver patterns that you can practice. Cool, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks again to Per Roger Schoen, the patron, for requesting this song. Again, if you wanted to head over to the Patreon page, you'll be able to find this song also with tab in the breakdown section in a few days' time. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, everyone. Feel free to put any comments or suggestions in the comments section below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week. Cheers, bye.